The course itself is, in a sense, a work in progress. It's not a fixed program, dogma, or conclusion. In fact, its highly concentrated, aphoristic approach is intended to elicit your own imagination and investigation in building on the insights offered. In doing so, you become a researcher yourself and contribute to the growing understanding that drives the course, expanding the way we think about our lives, our cultural products, and our world based on the insights of those who work with stories and have discovered that stories work with them. While these insights are not entirely unfamiliar, they are entirely counter to many of our assumptions about the nature of our world. We'll refer a lot to story as opposed to just stories. We'll look at how story is a process that all stories partake of, in the same way that paintings, say, partake of a process we call art, or mathematical equations partake of a process we call math. We'll look at how this process of story is woven throughout our world, and at how individual stories are structures that embody it, just as biological structures enact, sustain, and embody the mysterious process we call life. Many of the course's so-called insights are likely to seem so obvious as to not be worth stating. This is both inevitable and necessary. Inevitable because story is already embedded so deeply in our everyday lives. Necessary because the course needs to reveal its insights on a foundation of actual experience, not in the realm of the abstract or within the architecture of academic disciplines. A second layer of the material might seem unfamiliar, difficult, even disturbing, casting what we thought we knew in a different light. But then we come to the deepest layer, which opens the discovery that there was far more hidden in that initial obvious layer than we realized. This is the pot of gold hidden in your backyard. To get there, our primary approach is not going to be to share information with you. As we've already suggested, the world does not need more information. Rather, our goal is to show you the treasure you've had all along, but maybe didn't know was there. To connect and reconnect you with your own sources of inspiration. If there's information involved, it's more like DNA, because story is the DNA, the remarkably simple yet infinitely complex pattern at the heart of human growth and evolution, from the species to the individual. Story has been opening the path before us for just about as long as we have been Homo sapiens, and perhaps even longer. Story may even be older than language. I've made the point repeatedly that story is woven into every area of our life, but that doesn't mean that everything is a story. As we learn about the process and structure of story, and the factors of imagination and inspiration and experience that give a story its life, we'll also start to perceive the boundaries that make a story what it is. Understanding that not all the narratives that surround us have the nourishing, inspiring, and connecting properties of story, and learning what the difference is. Our intent then is to guide you towards the inner connection that will supercharge your ability to work with story in whatever field, yielding ever more powerful and transformative results. More than ever, the world needs people who can do this in every discipline. People who can work with the power of story to inspire, enchant, guide, and transform. As we have seen, the biology of story cuts across the boundaries between disciplines in the same way that story flows into all aspects of life. But our exploration is rooted in the creative arts, where the work of story has most consciously been kept alive. Here we experience the enchantment of story. But what if the proper domain of enchantment is not merely within the fictions we create, but the world we ourselves inhabit? As we work with story consciously, we'll be astonished by our own creations and by the patterns of meaning revealed in our lives, and finally by the potential for transformative change in our communities, our communications, and our culture. I wish I could promise you a how-to for this destiny, But destiny, as stories tell us, has to find you and asks only that you say yes to it. Stories often begin with a call to adventure. By now, maybe you know if you're called to take this course. I hope you are. I know that I'm really looking forward to the journey we'll be taking.